medical tent nearby or directly into the helicopters. That yet to be determined by the Russian search and recovery forces. They ultimately will be helicoptered back to the staging city in Karaganda, to the northeast of the landing site. Butch Wilmore will board a NASA plane for a flight back to Houston. The two cosmonauts, Samokutyaev and Serova, will board a Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center aircraft for a flight back to Chkalovsky Airfield outside of their training base in Star City, Russia. Typically, the first crew member to be extracted from the vehicle is the Soyuz commander. So we are likely to see Alexander Samokutyaev extracted first from the center seat of the Soyuz. The RSC Energia and Russian search and recovery personnel working to extract the crew. The Soyuz landing vertically, that tends to expedite the crew's departure from the Soyuz spacecraft. As the search and recovery forces work to begin the extraction of the crew, they'll be helped down this short ladder and carried one by one to the nearby reclining chairs so that they have a few minutes to regain equilibrium and get their land legs back a bit before they move ahead with their post-landing operations. Aboard the International Space Station, Expedition 43, formally underway at the time of the Soyuz undocking that occurred at 5:44 p.m. Central Time, almost 4 hours ago. Terry Virts of NASA, the new commander of the International Space Station. He and European Space Agency astronaut Samantha Cristoforetti and Russian cosmonaut Anton Shkaplerov forming a three-person crew for the next 16 days until the launch on March 27th U.S. time of NASA's Scott Kelly, Russian cosmonaut Mikhail Kornienko, and Soyuz commander Gennady Padalka. Kelly and Kornienko to embark on a year in space aboard the International Space Station. And just 23 minutes after landing, Alexander Samokhutyaev, the veteran cosmonaut with 331 days in space under his belt, first out of the Soyuz TMA-14M. Again, as is customary, despite the frigid temperatures at the landing zone, the crew members will be bundled up in these reclining chairs to offer an opportunity to regain a bit of equilibrium in their land legs. Samokhutyaev, during his tenure on board the International Space Station as part of Expedition 41 and 42, conducted one spacewalk back in October of last year, lasting 3 hours and 38 minutes. NASA astronaut Barry Wilmore back on Earth after 167 days in space, now with a total of 178 days on his 2 flights. Once again, the Soyuz landed upright, as you've seen in this live television from the landing site to the southeast of Zhezkazgan. Alexander Samokhutyaev on the left was first out of the Soyuz, followed just minutes later by Butch Wilmore, standing by for the extraction of Elena Serova.
Принял. Вот так.
Despite poor visibility in the landing zone, as you can see, with fairly significant fog and low clouds. We did not get visual confirmation, certainly did not see the Soyuz descending under its parachute as we typically have been able to see. But nonetheless, the Soyuz landed just about right on target, on time, according to the search and recovery forces.
Okay, let's go. Let's move over here.
And Elena Serova now outside of the top hatch of the Soyuz vehicle.
Everything is normal. Do you need another wipe? Take it easy, slowly. Okay, let's go slowly. Okay, let go.
Elena Serova, the fourth woman cosmonaut in history,
Lift the legs.
behind Valentina Tereshkova, Svetlana Svetskaya, and Elena Kondakova, now out of the Soyuz TMA-14M. All three crew members now having been extracted, having an opportunity to gain their land legs a bit.
Everything looks good.
The other search and recovery helicopters are in the process of arriving at the landing site.
Okay, I'll get it. Yes, you landed. Long time no see. Everything is great, thank you. Is everything okay?
Еще мерится. Все еще мерится.
Take some measurements. Congratulations on the recent holiday.
Сейчас мерится.
Hold on, take the measurements now.
Второй замер.
Checking the pressure, second measurement.
A good view of all three crew members having been quickly extracted from the Soyuz TMA-14M spacecraft.
Checking the blood pressure.
Landing occurring at approximately 9:07 p.m. Central Time. And less than 30 minutes later, all three crew members out of the vehicle and now in those reclining chairs near their capsule.
Checking pulse.
the smile that we have become accustomed to during his time on orbit. Butch Wilmore flashing that smile for the cameras, as well as a thumbs up sign. All good news. Everything went by the book despite very sporadic communications with the Soyuz during its descent back to Earth.
Take small sips. Is it too hot? It's good tea. With natural lemon. Alexander, how was landing? I think it went fine. How did the ground meet you? I think well, the previous time it was much harder to land, judging by my experience. Foggy. No, that's fine. Snow, fog. Hi, everybody. Hi to everyone, friends, relatives, everyone who helped. Everything is fine. I am drinking real tea with lemon. I'm feeling fine. We will see you soon at the Cosmonaut Training Center. Okay, thank you. The pressure, and we're measuring pressure. How was your landing? Landing was great. Everything is nominal. The guys are great. Worked very well. Fog, were you worried about the fog? No. Fog didn't scare me at all. Congratulations. Thank you. Would you like to say hi to everyone in Mission Control? I'd like to say hi to my relatives, all the loved ones, hugs and kisses to you, everyone. Thank you. How was landing?
Glad to be back.
I'm glad to be here. You're live with Mission Control. You can say hi. Thank you, guys.
A few words from each of the three crew members. As you heard Butch Wilmore at the end there, he said, I'm glad to be back. Everything went great. Wilmore capped off his time as Expedition 42 commander with a trio of spacewalks with the new expedition commander on the station, Terry Virts, conducted over the past couple of weeks over an 8-day period in which Wilmore and Virts went outside of the Quest airlock of the International Space Station to do all of the preparations and cable routing for the soon-to-be arrival of two new international docking adapters to which U.S. commercial crew vehicles and other visiting vehicles will dock to in the years ahead.
Василий Петрович, а где Вася? А? Вася где? Убежал уже?
Is everything okay? Is the tent ready? I'm fine, thank you. We're used to it.
This is Mission Control Houston. It has been about 41 minutes since the Soyuz TMA-14M landed on target just to the southeast of Jezkazgan. All three crew members extracted, looking well. They all made comments saying everything was great. Their entry back to Earth was nominal. Butch Wilmore indicating that he's glad to be back on Earth after he and his crewmates spent 167 days in space and aboard the International Space Station.
Can you take a picture of me? Can you take my picture? Hello?
Спасибо.
Thank you.
RSC Energia personnel will begin the removal of some of the cargo brought back in the Soyuz spacecraft. That will be brought back to the appropriate specialists in Moscow and to the United States.
Do you feel cold? No. No, I'm fine. We can take you to the car to get you warmed up. No, I'm fine.
Elena Sarova served as the board engineer, seated in the left seat to the left of Soyuz Commander Alexander Samakutyaev for this evening's landing, as she did 5.5 months ago for the launch of the Soyuz from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. Butch Wilmore was seated in the right seat.
Take them into the tent.
There is NASA headquarters chief photographer Bill Ingalls out of his helicopter that flew him from the staging city of Jezkazgan to the landing site, shooting pictures of the crew before they are hoisted one by one in their reclining chairs to be brought, we believe, into a nearby medical tent that was erected just minutes after the Soyuz landed.
Don't leave him alone. How are you feeling? Feeling fine. No, you're not going to freeze. Are you cold? Are you taking the video, Anton? Let's load everyone into the tent. Get ready for the commander. They're delivering the tent.
Another one of the Russian Mi-8 helicopters, part of the search and recovery forces. The helicopters landing in a slower sequential fashion than usual, no doubt because of the visibility and the conditions at the landing site.
Make sure nobody gets too cold.
Samakutiaev now being carried towards a nearby, actually being put in an all-terrain vehicle. There are 4 all-terrain vehicles at the landing site, and we'll be standing by to see whether or not they are taking them directly to the helicopters.
Thank you very much. Congratulations on the International Women's Day. Thank you. Let's move along with the seat. Hold on. Watch the head.
And Butch Wilmore now being brought to an all-terrain vehicle. We'll be standing by to see whether the crew is going to be taken directly to individual helicopters for an expedited departure from the landing zone due to the visibility and the conditions there.
Hold on, lift higher. Watch the head. Watch the head, watch the head. Everything is fine. Flight surgeons.
Воздуха нет. Вынырнул и пропал.
It would not be unprecedented for the crew to bypass the inflatable medical tent that is erected nearby for post-landing medical evaluations and an opportunity to get out of their Sokol launch and entry suits. It would not be unprecedented for them to be brought directly to helicopters for an expedited return to the staging city in Karaganda to the northeast, where a NASA jet is standing by along with a Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center jet. to fly Wilmore back to Houston, and for the 2 cosmonauts to return to Chkalovsky Airfield outside of their training base in Star City. We'll be standing by for further word on that. And there is the descent module, the only section of the Soyuz spacecraft that returns to Earth with the crew inside. That center section of the 3-section Soyuz vehicle was pyrotechnically separated from the upper stage, the orbital module, and the instrumentation and propulsion module before the Soyuz entered the Earth's atmosphere.
What should we do here? Do we have the comm and telemetry with mission control? This is Mission Control Houston, approaching 1 hour after the landing of the Soyuz TMA-14M southeast of Zhezkazgan. All 3 crew members are in all-terrain vehicles. You can see that the visibility is fairly poor in the vicinity of the landing zone as one of the Russian Mi-8 helicopters lands to assist in the post-landing recovery operations. Several inches of snow fell in the south-central region of Kazakhstan over the past 48 hours. Although the front moved to the east of the landing zone, it left in its wake ground fog and temperatures around 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Nonetheless, the first of the search and recovery helicopters arrived at the spacecraft within minutes after the Soyuz landed in a vertical upright position at approximately 9:07 p.m. Central Time. And within 30 minutes, all 3 crew members had been extracted from the vehicle. Soyuz Commander Alexander Samokhutyaev first, followed by Butch Wilmore and then Elena Serova.
7 вертолетов, на машине страшно ехать, она может выстрелить. Да. Палатку сюда, палатку. Сейчас, да, сейчас палатку показываю. Да, значит, сейчас ТМП.
Let's show the tent.
Пойдут в палатку. Да. Уже потом с палаткой вертолет, да. Да, так как обычно. Сейчас все придут уже вертолеты, там
Okay, when all the helicopters arrive.
Сейчас они поставили,
Then we'll set up the tent.
Андрей, после этого ПМК. Занял палатку, а тут... Да. И сейчас готовы, допустим, поехать, так тепло. Готовили, да? Тепло не разогревать, через 5 минут будет тепло. Ну, тогда определите, поедет тепло. Тогда ПМК, даем команду, они спокойно передвигаются, только надо, чтобы там кто-то держал. Ну, там есть, там вообще ЧПК, нет, там не находились, сюда не выводили. Вам.
This is Mission Control Houston, continuing to receive live television from the landing site southeast of Zhezkazgan in Kazakhstan on a frigid morning. Temperatures hovering around the 20-degree Fahrenheit mark. There is the orange inflatable medical tent still standing by to see whether or not the crew members are actually inside the tent yet, or whether they're inside those all-terrain vehicles which will drive just a few feet to carry them towards the medical tent. All of the search and recovery helicopters are on the ground. They landed in sequential fashion, but very slowly, obviously because of the fog and the poor visibility in the area. You're looking inside that medical tent, obviously empty at the moment, devoid of crew members. However, the search and recovery forces and the medical personnel were establishing some of the equipment inside the medical tent, so we're continuing to stand by as we watch the all-terrain vehicles at the moment. A very carefully choreographed operation to arrive at the Soyuz spacecraft in exponential fashion, in a very expedited fashion as well. The three crew members were placed inside these all-terrain vehicles to warm them up a bit, get them out of the frozen conditions at the landing site after they spent several minutes in those reclining chairs, acclimating themselves to a gravity environment for the first time in 5.5 months.
Okay, place the commander in the middle, and Elena, place her here. Okay, that's good. The commander will come out first. Who goes first? Vadim?
As you can see, the all-terrain vehicles in which the 3 crew members are located, one for each of these vehicles. The first one with Alexander Samokhutyaev, the Soyuz commander on board, has backed up to the entrance to the medical tent. We should see Samokhutyaev removed from the ATV very shortly to be brought into the medical tent. He'll be followed by Wilmore and Serova. There are a total of 4 all-terrain vehicles that pre-position at the landing site for the expedited recovery of the crew, particularly in these conditions where the visibility was poor for this landing that occurred just 26 minutes after sunrise on Thursday morning in Kazakhstan.
Watch the head. Can somebody help over there?
And there's Butch Wilmore.
Could you lift him a little bit? Good. That's good. Okay, carrying him. Okay, got him. Got him.
So Butch Wilmore is inside the medical tent. This is an inflatable medical tent that is carried on the first helicopter that lands in the vicinity of the Soyuz spacecraft. It takes just moments to inflate that medical tent, inside which the crew members are helped out of their Sokol launch and entry suits into more comfortable clothing, and the initial perfunctory medical tests are conducted on each of the crew members.
Wait a second. Close the door. The one in the middle? Yes. I thought he went to the other one on the side. Take over. Are you ready? Be careful. Are you ready to take over? Are you supporting on this side? Hold on. Support the legs.
And the Soyuz commander, Alexander Samokhutyaev, out of his all-terrain vehicle into the medical tent.
Hold on.
And Elena Serova now being helped out of the all-terrain vehicle. The 3 crew members were loaded into these ATVs that are part of the Russian Search and Recovery Force's hardware at any landing site, any time of the year. They were brought inside to stay warm until the medical tent was prepared for them. where they will undergo brief medical exams, get out of their launch and entry suits and into more comfortable clothing. They'll go back into individual helicopters, which will take off to head back to Karaganda, where a NASA jet is waiting to bring Butch Wilmore back to Houston, and a Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center aircraft is waiting to bring Samotkutyaev and Serova back to Chkalovsky Airfield outside of their training base at Star City, Russia.
I came in on 41. Two just
All three crew members in that inflatable medical tent, not more than a few feet away from where their Soyuz TMA-14M spacecraft touched down at about 9:07 p.m. Central Time, 10:07 p.m. Eastern Time, a little over an hour ago. The Soyuz landed upright. Within minutes, the initial teams of the search and recovery forces were at the capsule to help extract the crew members. Samotkutyaev, the Soyuz commander, was first out of the center seat of the descent module, followed by Butch Wilmore and then Elena Serova. They all had remarks that you heard provided, in which they said that everything went great with their entry and landing. We did have very sporadic communications with the crew during the descent phase, but everything went by the book. All of the activities, including the separation of the three sections of the Soyuz, the deployment of the parachutes, and of course the touchdown that occurred just about on target in fairly inhospitable conditions with thick fog and temperatures hovering around the 20-degree Fahrenheit mark.